Size isn't everything in arm wrestling, or is it? Some of the biggest men in the sport have struggled to convert their towering frames into total domination at the highest level in the sport. But why is that exactly? I am the arm historian, and in this video, we're looking at the untapped potential of two arm wrestling giants and why their size seems to create more hype than they are sometimes able to live up to. If you enjoyed deep dives like this, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's get into it. As we all know by now, arm wrestling isn't just brute strength, it's about angles, technique, and control. The taller you are, the longer your levers, which, while it sounds unilaterally like a good thing, can be in reality a double-edged sword. It gives you reach, that's true, but it also means a small miscalculation can lead to massive inefficiency. Let's break it down a little more. A shorter arm wrestler generally has a more compact range of motion, which makes their movements more controlled and less prone to energy loss. A taller arm wrestler, on the other hand, has a wider arc, meaning they need to, in theory of course, exert more effort to maintain position. This is why sometimes tall arm wrestlers struggle with control, especially when facing shorter opponents with explosive starts. Their height can leave them vulnerable in defensive positions, where they have to work extra hard to recover. But it's not all bad. In fact, most people will confirm that taller arm wrestlers generally have more of an advantage. Tall arm wrestlers can use their leverage to create extreme back pressure, forcing opponents into a stretch-out position where they lose power. Arm wrestlers with a tall frame can also climb higher on their opponent's hand and create a better position to pivot off for the finishing move. This is where refinement and adaptation to your own height become crucial. Both athletes we're discussing today
Here we go.
have had to learn how to adjust their game to maximize their frame strength while mitigating its weaknesses, and they haven't always been equally successful at doing so. Recently, I ran across a comment that called Alex Kurdecha the Derek Smith of the East, and while this comment was clearly meant as a joke, there might be a kernel of truth there. Both men are huge in stature and have been, at various points in their career, been touted as the future of arm wrestling because of their massive frames. But do their similarities end there, or is there something more going on here? Something that might reveal a bigger trend throughout arm wrestling? Let's dive deeper and take a look and compare the arm wrestling career of both men. Derek Smith, born on November 22, 1985 in Fontana, California, is a prominent figure in the arm wrestling community, standing at an impressive 6'8" and weighing around 350 pounds. Though this weight would fluctuate, his journey into the sport is perhaps unsurprisingly not a conventional one. Before venturing into arm wrestling, Derek was deeply immersed in the world of professional video gaming. During a National Video Gaming Championship event in Las Vegas around 2010, he encountered a 15-year-old who, despite his youth, defeated him in arm wrestling. This young video gamer was also a competitive arm wrestler, a revelation that ignited Derek's passion for the sport. Perhaps the undeniable game-like elements to an arm wrestling match also attracted the seasoned gamer. Determined to master arm wrestling, Derek became utterly obsessed, dedicating himself to learning and excelling in the discipline. In the meanwhile, all the way on the other side of the world, a young man with an equally imposing physique was getting involved with the sport of arm wrestling as well. Alex Kurdecha was born in the late 80s in Ukraine, and from an early age it was clear Alex had a knack for sports and had physical potential in spades, growing to an imposing 6'7" in adulthood and weighing around 330 pounds. Alex attributed his strength and impressive frame to his father, who could apparently lift a motorcycle off the ground, amongst other feats of strength. Although the young Alex was familiar with arm wrestling from an early age, he was preoccupied with a lot of other sports and a successful scholastic career. After moving to Poland to continue his studies, Alex never let go of his passion for and natural interest in a wild array of sports. He would test his body and technical prowess in swimming, running, shot putting, and many other sports, even developing a strong passion for American football at some point during the 2010s, something that would seemingly even claim his attention over arm wrestling. Although Kurdecha clearly had an active and varied lifestyle, arm wrestling never quite left his mind. From 2010 onwards, Alex would start competing on and off in local tournaments and did very well in the local Polish arm wrestling scene. It was clear he not only possessed an ideal physique for the sport, but had the potential to become extremely technically proficient as well. Back over in the US, Derek's commitment to arm wrestling had led him to participate in numerous local tournaments over the years. He would build up a reputation as a hot up-and-comer and started popping up in high-level events around 2016, getting matches with the likes of Travis Bagent and Matt Mask. In 2017, he would step up to what was arguably the highest level of the sport at the time, at least in North America. The WAL's 2017 tournament scene was a fertile breeding ground for up-and-coming talent, and Derek was looking to make his mark. He did fairly well that year with a record of 2-4 on the left hand and 5-4 on the right hand over 2 tournaments, even winning one of them according to the WAL website. After this, Derek would not sit still for long and became seemingly even more committed to the sport of arm wrestling. Apart from doing really well on a national level and becoming one of the highest rated pullers in the state of California and by extension the country, Derek also strived to grow his own community and arm wrestling as a whole. He started a club, one he quickly grew to impressive attendance and talent, and in the process became somewhat of a spearhead for the local arm wrestling scene. Derek's savviness when it came to the online world also proved useful when he became the driving force behind the r/arm wrestling subreddit, as well as a big arm wrestling Discord server. He would stay extremely active on other social media platforms and would even go on to coin the term King's Move, leaving an indelible mark on the sport. At the same time, now living in Poland, Alex Kurdecha was making his comeback to the highest level of arm wrestling in his own corner of the world. He had taken somewhat of a break from arm wrestling to pursue other sports like swimming and American football, but decided to more fully commit this time. Kurdecha would be competing at the 2017's Laletin Tour in his now home country of Poland, where the competition now seemed fiercer than ever. Expectations for the giant puller were perhaps also higher than ever, and Alex ended up living up to the hype somewhat by coming in 3rd place, after an already impressive-looking Levon took 1st. From that time on, now 2018 to 2019, Alex would fully commit to the PAL circuit, participating in multiple Vendetta matches, as well as enter the infamous Top 8 League. He faced one arm wrestling superstar after another on the right arm during this time, and came out victorious in each match, solidifying his ascendancy, and by doing so, stoking the flames of speculation. You see, Kurdecha, still being young for an arm wrestler and possessing one of the most physically impressive frames in the game, had become, at least in people's minds, a prime potential challenger for the #1 spot. However, late in 2019, the Polish-Ukrainian giant would take a brutal loss versus the lighter but highly technically proficient Kidergali Ongarbayev, proving once again that frame is not everything. In November of 2021, during another PAL Top 8 Super match, Alex would square up against the rising star Hermes Gasparini. Hermes was quickly becoming a true contender in the high peaks of the sport, which made Alex cleanly winning the match quite the accomplishment. His stock rose to an even higher level than before, and rumblings were once again afoot about Alex being the next big monster that would dominate our sport. After the COVID restrictions had somewhat relaxed over in North America now, Derek Smith would once again prove his dominance in his home state by beating the powerhouse Tim Bresnan at the 2nd edition of the King of Cali in January of 2022. While Bresnan was quite clearly not at the peak of his ability anymore, this was still a very solid win for Smith. In May of 2022, at the 3rd edition of East vs West, Derek Smith was finally given the opportunity to perform on the biggest stage arm wrestling had to offer. Just to give you an idea at how big the hype was around Derek as one of the next potential top guys, they chose as his opponent the Kazakhstani superstar, Artyom Morozov. Now granted, maybe people weren't quite aware of Morozov's true power yet, but it is quite telling that this was deemed as an actual match that would be considered close. Morozov ended up beating Derek on the right arm in extremely dominant fashion, something that might have somewhat slowed down the Americans' hype, but mainly seemed to show to spectators how strong Morozov really was. Not even 3 months on at the following edition of East vs West, Derek would get another chance, this time facing off against a stout Georgian, Laletin, someone making a comeback after being out of the sport for a while. Derek would lose once again, without getting a single pin, in similar fashion to his previous match. To those following the sport closely, the verdict was clear. Derek simply wasn't at the same level as some of the up-and-coming Eastern athletes. Despite this, Derek was given another shot at a super heavyweight match, this time at East vs West 9. The veteran puller Mehdi Abdolvand tried to stand in the way of the giant American's redemption, but Derek proved too strong this time. After losing the first round to subsequent fouls, Derek composed himself and actually arm wrestled smartly and in a controlled way, proving that he definitely possessed the skills when he was not overpowered. Derek would go on to lose his next 2 outings on the big stage, first to Matt Mask on the right hand, and then to Travis Bagent on the left, but continues to do really well in the local North American arm wrestling scene. He also continues to fulfill an important role within the West Coast US arm wrestling scene and in numerous groups online to this day. In recent times, Alex Kurdecha as well has not shied away from the limelight of the top arm wrestling competitions, not only in the East, but also over in North America. In April of 2022, Kurdecha got the chance to pull in 2 subsequent editions of King of the Table, taking a loss versus Dave Chafee, but a convincing win against another American powerhouse in Corey West, both on the right arm. Continuing in 2024, Alex took a big win over Georgy Tsvetkov, who many consider to be solidly in the top 10. Although some would argue Georgie was in terrible shape during their match at East vs West 12. Only 4 months on though, the Ginger Dread man Jerry Caderet's unique style would prove too tough a puzzle for Kurdecha to solve, as he lost his match 3-0. Alex would go on to snag a win at Global Elite Arm Wrestling in what I'll generously call an exhibition match versus lap fighter David Zalewski. However, recently, in January of 2025, Alex also faced the giant killer David Daria Khan on the left arm, losing convincingly to the shorter and lighter puller, getting 0 pins on David in the process. It's clear Alex still has the drive and potential in spades to do well at the highest level of arm wrestling. However, he can't quite seem to solidify himself yet again at the highest peak of the sport. Apart from the many similarities between Alex Kurdecha and Derek Smith in arm wrestling, the two also have at least one thing in common outside of the sport. Both are proud fathers and by all accounts, dedicated and decent men. For what it's worth, they've also both shown me kindness in my limited personal interactions with them. I personally think it's pretty clear that both Alex and Derek care a lot about our sport and are in it for the long haul. They've both worked actively and diligently toward promoting our sport, each in their own distinct yet similar way, and while they haven't always fully lived up to the almost inhuman hype placed upon them by the fandom, I for one hope neither of them gives up and that we may soon see them both, who knows, maybe even facing off against each other as true titans of the sport. What are your picks for biggest untapped potential in the sport? I'd love to read about it in the comments. Also, don't forget to drop a like. Thanks for watching. Arm Historian, out.